Right, properly windy as well. Oh, fucking freezing, man. Head's frozen. I can't feel a fucking thing. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Zaks Car Chat. Welcome back. Welcome back to Zaks Car Chat. Today we've got another video for you. It's another V8 monster, if you want to call it that. It's one that I really like. It's a Mercedes CLS 63S. It's a beast. That's the easiest way to say it. It's the most underrated AMG, in my opinion. No one talks about them. No one buys them. You never see them on the road. In my opinion, it's one of the rarest AMGs I've personally owned and that I've seen about. An absolute weapon of a car. It's a 5.5 bi-turbo V8, 585 horsepower, an absolute torque monster. The amount of torque this car's got from factory is unreal. It's nothing like I've driven before. It just pulls and pulls and pulls. I love these cars, absolutely love them. I had one about 3 years ago, exactly the same as this. It was an absolute beauty. Unfortunately, it got flooded, so we never saw it again, but it's genuinely the first car that I was upset about losing. I would normally stand out here and talk to you guys more, but we're gonna do the rest of it in the car because I can't do this anymore. My head's gone numb. Everything else has gone numb. Right, so let's go and yeah, we'll carry this on. CLS 63. So back in 2019, I bought one for myself. It's the first actual car that I bought for myself. So we've been doing this, 6-7 years, never treated myself to a car, never wanted to treat myself to a car, believe it or not. It was all about the business. I finally bought myself one. Never had anything that's powerful, never had anything that's big. Really nice car, loved it the minute I sat in it. True story, I went to the auction to buy it. I got there, I was that excited about buying it. I literally left the car I went in at the auction and come back in the car, because I couldn't wait to drive it. So a bit more about the car. So it's a 2016 CLS 63 AMG S. The reason I'm saying S and I'm making such a big deal about it because the S was only launched in 2014, late 2014. So they do two different types of CLS 63s. They do one from 2011 to 2014, which was the previous generation. Pre-facelift, doesn't look as nice. Inside looks a bit older. That was 525 horsepower, no limited slip diff, nothing. And then the S come out, the LSD was standard on the S. You can only get the facelift in the S model. So it's got 585 horsepower, 800 newton meters of torque, a limited slip diff, and it's just a machine. And honestly, the 5.5 bi-turbo engine has not been spoken about enough, in my opinion, on social media. People don't talk about it, they don't really rave about it. There's not many videos out there about it, but what an engine. Honestly, what an absolute engine. It's just constant power, and the torque and the way it delivers the torque. It's not really so much torque. You can get other cars with more torque now, like the new E63S. I think that's got 850 newton meters of torque, 600 horsepower, so similar power, slightly more torque, but it also weighs 300-400 kilos more than this. So it's mad that an old generation car is keeping up to the latest stuff. And the way it delivers the power, I think it's faster than the E63S. I genuinely think it is. It's so underrated. They're so rare. I don't know why they're so rare. A lot of people are going to say, yeah, it's just an E63, it's just an E63 that looks better or looks worse. Some people are going to say. But personally, it's not an E63. I get what they're saying, is that the engine, the gearbox, everything. First of all, go out and try and find a previous generation E63S. It's impossible. They don't even fucking make them, and if they do, there's one in a million. But the way it looks, I personally like it. I love the way it looks. I think it's different. Some people are going to say it's less practical because it's a 4-seater, not a 5-seater, which I get. My wife's actually got a CLS 350, the same generation, on a 2017. She loves it. I've tried to talk her into selling it loads of times and changing it. She says no, stay away from my car. If you want a CLS 63 AMG S, you've got the choice of 3 from Auto Trader. One of them's a private seller, so a lot of people won't buy from there because finance options and things like that aren't available. So technically there's 2. One's done really high mileage compared to this one, and then one's done really low mileage compared to this one. So one's 50,000 pound, I think, and one's about £40,000. So this is in between them two, I'd say. For a 14 plate car with decent mileage on, we're talking 60,000 miles, so it's not a low mileage car, to be worth £45,000. It's mad. AMGs don't hold value like that. And I'm a big believer, the reason it holds value like that is because of what it is. And people don't understand what it is. I'm gonna get that across to you guys today, and you can basically see where I'm coming from in terms of how fast it is and how quick it feels. comfort as well. What the fuck is that all about? I know people are going to say, oh, it's just another fucking big heavy AMG. It's not actually heavy, by the way. C63, that's currently at MSL, weighs 1780, 1800 kilos. This weighs 1850 kilos. There's nothing in it. There's 50 kilos. Some people have 50 kilos on them. My point is that people are going to look at it and think, oh, a big heavy car, it's just a big muscle car. So it's not. Honestly, the power delivery, 4,000 RPM, the twin turbos, honestly, what a machine. I can't really say much more about it. It sounds just nice. It sounds classy. It sounds, I can't explain it. It's just a nice car. People are going to think you're coming across as a bit strange on this video, but this is me being genuine. Let's put a Sport Plus. It's already dropped down. Brakes are bloody good. And that sound drop down's really nice on it, really nice. Do you know what? The cabin doesn't have that much noise in it at all in terms of like exhaust noise, but you can imagine how loud it sounds outside. And it feels small. It doesn't feel like a big car. Like, it's surprising how agile this car feels. Yeah, wow. That is really surprising. It feels so comfortable and like agile and easy to handle. And the traction control's not constantly kicking in, so it's not annoying you. In the C63, it does kick in quite a lot. So the C63 has 600 Newton meters of torque. This has 800 Newton meters of torque. So it's got 200 Newton meters more. Power-wise, mine's a Performance Pack Plus, so it's got 100 horsepower more. 200 Newton meters more of torque. Twin turbo, 5.5. So the whole purpose of the 5.5 was to get fuel economy good. I don't know how they've managed to do that, because they haven't, because they've stuck 2 turbos on it. So it's more powerful, more torquey, more everything than a 6.3 litre engine, 6.2 litre engine, whatever you want to call it. Weird sensation when it pulls at 4,000, 5,000 RPM and the speed goes up the way it goes up. Obviously, we've only gone 50 miles an hour then, but I can imagine what it would feel like going faster. Do you know what? If somebody said to me, shall I buy a CLS63? I'd say, if you want a car that's different, it's not an M5, it's not an E63, your normal M3s and M4s and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? I would say 100% get one, and I would buy one because of the engine. It reminds me a little bit of the E39 M5 that we drove, like the way it top end pulls. I don't know, it's very hard to explain, but it feels like that. And I personally said that's one of the best engines I've ever driven. That's a big expectation to keep up to, and this is it. I definitely prefer this engine over the 4 litre bi-turbo, 100%, no question about it. The one that I had, which was exactly the same as this, I had that remapped by MSL. We just went stage 1 on it. We didn't do stage 2, we didn't do downpipes, we didn't do anything. We just did stage 1 ECU tune, and the power that pulled factory, this is what I'm trying to say, this doesn't feel standard. The reason for this is, I'm going to put a screenshot up of the MSL video of my CLS63, and you can see the figures it pulled just from a stage 1, which is unbelievable. Even Acid himself, the owner of MSL, was quite surprised by the power it pulled. Standard, I think it was 640, 630 brake. That's what power this car made standard. 630, 640, not this one, but my one. And it's supposed to be factory 585. No previous tunes, no nothing. Factory car, 100%. The ECU never been taken out of that car. And after the stage 1 map, it was 737 horsepower. After a stage 1, 737 horsepower. And it nearly had 1,200 Newton meters of torque. Unbelievable, the torque on it. It had like torque limiters at 4,000 revs. Every so often it used to like rein the torque in, but when it pulled full and the car was cold, power was savage. Unbelievable. And you know what? That was from a stage 1, so that tells you what this engine is capable of. But the bit that surprised me the most is not about the power it made after the tune, is the fact that factory, it was running 640, I think, horsepower. That's what it was running standard. So that's the dyno they did before the remap. This was one of the cars that I was thinking about before we decided to do the supercharge on the C63. It was one of these, I remember, we was talking about this, and I said, you know what? The money we're going to spend on a supercharge on the C63, imagine what we'd get out of this if we spent that same sort of money on one of these. I spoke to Acid, and they've done a few. Roughly, they did it on the pre-facelift that was running 525 horsepower standard. They did pure 900 turbos, I think they were, and it ran 940 brake, 940 horsepower, and they had to cap the torque at 1,300 Newton meters. Mad. The reason we didn't do it, and we just chose the C63 over this, is because it's a different type of feel, and I'm going to explain this to you in a later video, and I'm expecting the C63 to feel mental once it's done. But a turbocharged car is different to a naturally aspirated engine, and it's very hard for me to explain that. But the reason we've decided to not do hybrid turbos on this is because we've got another one in the pipeline that we want to do it to, which I think is going to be a bit more current, there'll be a bit more following over it because people don't really follow this car that much. It's a shame, it's a real shame, because it's, like I said, it's probably one of my favourite cars. Definitely one of my favourite AMGs, and I loved my one that I had, and this just confirms why. I can only be honest as I can in these reviews. I'm not a journalist, I'm not a car journalist, but we've driven enough cars to know what cars should feel like. But with the LSD, that power, extra slight bit of weight, the way it puts the power down, it has got 285 tyres on the back, which is a massive benefit over the C63. Rear wheel drive only, and it puts the power down well. It feels solid. It's just a nice place to be as well. I like the seating position, I like everything about it. If you want to be different, you want something that's random, you want something that no one's really ever seen or been in before, this is the car to get. It's a modern day super saloon. Or coupe, that's what they call it, a coupe, but it's a saloon. We'll do a few drag races with this and a few of the cars to confirm what I'm saying, because I do genuinely believe it's going to perform very, very well. Right, if you want an absolute beast, buy CLS63. Honestly, they're really rare. You're never going to see one on the road, and that's, in my opinion, what makes it a great car. Like, it's a rare car. It drives amazing with the LSD fitted, with that sort of power. The screenshots from MSL from my CLS63 will confirm what I said. It feels a lot more powerful than what it is, and I'm not saying every single one's going to perform like that, because they are hand-built engines. A shame, really, because the 5.5 engine didn't last very long, and the 6.2 litre V8, the 5.5 bi-turbo, and the 4 litre bi-turbo, I would put it on par with the 6.2 litre V8, if not better, definitely. That's how good that engine is. Thanks a lot for watching. Like, subscribe, put comments down if you want us to try something different, if you want to see it go up against another car to prove what I'm saying, or whatever you want us to do, put it down in the comments and we'll definitely try and do it for you. I've already apologised, Dylan, that's my cameraman, because we was adamant on videoing my new car today, but it's not arrived. So if that arrives next week, we're definitely going to do that as the next video. So you guys will understand why we decided not to take this car further and why we waited. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.